The third game, it's Spurs at home to Sporting. We'll take a look at the betting. This is Adrian's game of choice. Spurs are currently 1.5, Sporting 7.4. The draw available at 4.9. Both teams to score, yes, is 1.89. The handicap sees Spurs against the goal line at 1.25. Currently at 2.08, and the goal line is currently 3.0, a good bit shaded towards the under at 1.76. So, yeah, Adrian, talk to me about Spurs there yesterday. Obviously, the game turned on Lloris's decision, but you have to say they were overall very disappointing. It just seemed that Newcastle were that little bit further along the line, which really surprised me, to be honest.
They looked a better team, didn't they? Newcastle United. They deserved the win. Hugo Lloris, it's been an accident waiting to happen for a few years. I think he's made so many rickets across the last couple of seasons. More rickets than he has saved. Game-changing saves. He is a spectacular keeper. He can save you points, but I think he's cost Spurs more points personally than he saved them in the last 2 or 3 seasons. So yeah, it didn't surprise me. I think it's an interesting game. It's a huge game because the group is wide open. It's a big night for Spurs, big night for Antonio Conte. We know he's got a pretty bang average Champions League record, and he comes into it off the back of two poor defeats, to Manchester United and to Newcastle United. So they need to be at it. Tottenham Hotspur in the game. Obviously, there's a little bit of revenge there as well because of what happened over in Portugal earlier on in the group. And I do think that they're capable of getting that revenge. I think Sporting have regressed a little bit. I don't think they've been fantastic defensively in recent times. You look at their away record, they've only got 1 domestic clean sheet on the road this season in the Portuguese league. So that tells you that they're not great travellers. They're a little bit open. They conceded 3 at Braga, 3 at Porto, 2 at Boavista. And of course, they had a nightmare against Marseille, a Marseille team that hadn't had any Champions League victories for years, and they were swept aside by them. So I think that Sporting come into it a little bit more fragile than they were when they played Spurs before. They've also got a couple of suspensions to deal with from the last game where they ended it with 9 men. They've got the distraction of their head coach as well, Amorim, being strongly linked with Villa Park. I don't think that's particularly helpful for them ahead of the game. Spurs, even though they're not firing on all cylinders, they've still got Kane, they've still got Son, they've still got the ability to win home games. Let's not forget that Newcastle defeat. It was their first defeat, at home for a long, long time. So yeah, I fancy Spurs to win here. I don't think it'll be high scoring because Conte be pretty business-like, I would imagine, in this fixture. We just want to get the job done. And I think Spurs will. So Spurs and under 4.5 for me at 1.79.
Yeah, Miguel, you like the unders angles here with Conte, given it's a big night in the Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably go, I'd be similar to Adrian again then, go with Spurs to win. But just on their form, I just don't feel quite 100% confident. I mean, I can't rule out mishaps. But I think given everything Adrian has just said there about the form leading into the 2 games, given there's a staleness about Spurs at the moment, and I think just the context with both their poor form and Conte's Champions League record means this will be another one he tries to lock down and win in a kind of almost a classically European way, which is a kind of a quote unquote professional 1-0 or 2-0. And that would be my kind of likeliest prediction for it. So just to give us a little bit more out, I'm going for under 2.5.
Interesting. Under 2.5, currently 2.24. Mark, you're under similar lines with the unders here, I guess. Spurs, I know you took them up start of the season, anti-post. They're still in contention. But you tell me, Mark. You take it away, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if they win this, they're through, I think, aren't they? They qualify with a win.
Right.
So absolutely, they're still in contention. I still expect them to be in the last 16 draw. And as we talk about, it's a completely different season when the Champions League rolls around. It's a long way away, the knockouts. So yeah, I'm very much between the 2 guys, really. I wanted to back Spurs and unders, but for the same reasons as Miguel, I just can't really trust them at the minute. They looked half broken at the end of Sunday. Talk about Hugo Lloris, but even Eric Dyer, Son's not been playing anywhere close to his. I think I've heard a stat this weekend that he hasn't actually scored when he started a game for Spurs this season. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but
It's true. Yeah.
It's surprising. And obviously Conte's demanding nature. I can't imagine that the training ground is a fun place to be right now. And he's a coach who normally excels when he's got time to work with his players. But right now, players are playing, resting, recovering, preparing, and going again. There's no time to do much. So they have been uninspiring and underwhelming. I think fatigue is also an issue, whether it's mental as well as physical. But he's not rotated his squad much at all before this weekend, at least. And Kulusevski, his industry, his versatility has been missing. Richarlison's still absent as well. So, I just can't sort of pull the trigger on Tottenham. So instead, I took under 3 goals because I think you just get such a range of correct scores on your side. 0-0s, 1-1s, 1-0, 2-0, either way. 2-1 or 3-0 scoreline gets stakes returned. So if there's 4 goals or more, we lose out. The goal expectancy here is at 3, which I felt was quite high, actually. I personally don't see this game sort of descending into a gunfight at all. Tottenham haven't convinced so far. They were better against Frankfurt here on match day 4. But Sporting are much more experienced, more restrained, more controlled, and just more capable, I think, than Frankfurt on the European stage. And I do rate Ruben Amorim as a head coach. Things domestically haven't sort of got away from them a little bit this season. But I think we saw in the first game that he can devise a game plan that can thwart big teams, better teams, when sort of considered the underdogs. And they had some fleeting moments in that game too. So, I think they'll sort of batten down the hatches. They know the importance of avoiding defeat in this match just as much as Spurs do too. So, I'm happy to sort of oppose goals in this game. But if I had to, I'd sort of pull the trigger on Spurs and unders. But personally, the confidence isn't just there right yet.
Adrian, have the lads put you away from Spurs? Are you still happy with the Spurs and under 4.5 before I make a decision?
No. Yeah, make whatever decision you like. I mean, I get it. I just don't think Sporting Lisbon are that good a team, and I don't think they have that much threat up top. I don't think
just on the Spurs price. So Spurs are trading around 1.5, right? They went off about 2.1, 2.15 at home to Newcastle on Sunday. Right. Are Sporting that much worse for Newcastle? I personally don't see it, to be honest.
Probably not. No, I just don't know if Sporting Lisbon are good enough to go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and win like Newcastle did. But it's got the feel of a low-scoring game for sure. So if you want to go under 3, that's absolutely fine with me.
Yeah, we'll lock in under 3. So the choices are: Mark went under 3, 1.76. Miguel went under 2.5, 2.24, and Adrian Spurs and under 4.5 at 1.8. So we'll lock in under 3.0 goals. That's currently available at 1.76 as a bet. But again, you can go whatever way you want.